This integral requires a u sub. We have 1 over theta sitting inside this parentheses, and it just so happens the derivative of 1 over theta is negative 1 over theta squared, which happens to be sitting out in front of the parentheses, which makes a really simple u substitution. But before you do that, the substitution you want to make of 1 over theta works for this part of the integral. It does not work for this part of the integral. So what we're going to do is separate these two integrals by first distributing this 1 over theta squared to both terms here. This is going to give me the integral of 5 over theta squared cosine 1 over theta d theta. And then I have minus integral of 2 over theta cubed d theta. I don't need to do a u sub for this integral because you and I both know how to integrate this guy. First, after I rewrite that as 2 theta to the negative 3, but this does require a u sub. So let's go ahead and start with the u sub over here. I'm going to say u equals 1 over theta du equals negative 1 over theta squared. I got that really quickly, but if you're just curious at home wondering how I did that, I rewrote this as theta to the negative 1. When I take the derivative, the negative 1 comes down in front, and the new power is negative 2, so I get negative 1 over theta squared. I'm going to go ahead and solve for d theta, so that gives me d theta equals negative theta squared du. Now that I have all this information, let's all go plug it into this first integral here. We have 5 over theta squared. Cosine of 1 over theta becomes cosine of u, since 1 over theta is equal to u, and d theta becomes negative theta squared du. So negative theta squared du. This is really convenient because this theta squared and this theta squared cancel. Okay, so now this integral just left me with the integral of negative, careful that negative doesn't go away, negative 5 cosine of u du. And when I integrate negative 5 cosine of u du, I get negative 5 sine of u. Don't forget, we also need to replace u by the original substitution, namely 1 over theta. So I'm going to say this is negative 5 sine 1 over theta. Now, we're not quite out of the woods. One thing is we're missing a plus c, but I'll add that in a second. Remember, this was separated into two different integrals. We got to tackle this guy first. So 2 over theta cubed, I'm going to write that as the integral of 2 theta to the negative 3. And then when I add 1 to the power and divide by the new power, I get negative theta to the negative 2. One last thing to remember here is that I might be tempted to put negative theta to the negative 2 here, or let's say, yes, that's fine, plus c. But this negative here is going to combine with this negative to make this a positive. And so this ends up being our final answer.